Hello and welcome to this conversation on Anita Desai's games at Twilight. I have with me Miss Gayatri, who is an MA student at IIT Madras. Welcome, Gayatri.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, what do you make of the story?
It's I think Anita Desai, she uses imagery quite a lot. You feel like you are actually in the story. You can feel the sun, which is hot. It's scorching heat, and it's a very talking of Indian sensibilities. I think I could relate to it much more than I could relate to a lot of short stories because I've been one of the children who has been playing through scorching heat, and we don't care about what parents say. We've been there outside throughout the day, and I think I could relate to it a lot more than a lot of other stories.
Okay, very good. The Indian sensibility in terms of the children's reaction to the
Yes.
disciplining of the parents during hot summers is very much understandable, and we could relate to it as well. But there is a kind of a subversive note to these games that are being played in this particular story, and Anita Desai really manipulates us into kind of lulling us into believing in all these games, but then she has an ulterior motive
Yes.
to attain through these games at Twilight. So that is something we need to keep in mind as well.
So let's start about the relevance of the title, Games at Twilight. But it starts in the morning, and there's a very passing reference to Twilight. So what do you think about
Yeah, so there is it's a gradual beginning. In fact, I'm reminded of Anita Desai's own comment, which I kind of highlighted in one of my lecture sessions, which is that she is not very rigid in terms of structuring the story. She doesn't set out, perhaps not like Kushwant Singh, who has a definite beginning, a definite middle, and a definite ending. Everything is neatly in order in a Kushwant Singh story. But here she says that when she talks about her writing style, she says that I let the story flow, and then it evolves. Through the relationship between the characters, and that's very interesting because we don't see Ravi until well into the
Yes.
story, right? He is not introduced right at the beginning, quite artificially by the writer. And as you say, we do not begin at twilight. That's also very interesting to note. We begin in the late afternoon or in the afternoon. And let me read the very first line here of the story. It was still too hot to play outdoors. They had their tea, they had been washed and had their hair brushed, and after the long day of confinement in the house that was not cool, but at least a protection from the sun, the children strained to get out. So we can assume that this is late afternoon. The children have gone through the ritual of cleaning themselves, they've had their tea and they want to go out, but it's still very hot. So there's a mismatch there. The evening doesn't mean that it is, the earth is getting cooled down, at least not in India, in the north, during the summer. And you're quite right to point out that the idea of twilight comes pretty late in the story. And that's when Ravi wants to get out of the shed, right?
Yes.
He wants to get out of the shed because it's twilight and he could hear the voices of the children, and they seem to be singing and chanting and not fighting for the first time. So that's what he imagines the children to be doing from inside the shed. And that's where we see Twilight, and this is how Twilight is described by Desai, and towards the close of the story. She says, it grew darker in the shed as the light at the door grew softer, fuzzier, turned to a kind of crumbling yellow pollen that turned to yellow fur, blue fur, gray fur. And I'm really struck when I'm reading this now. I'm struck by the choice of words. Fuzzier. Again, twilight, neither this nor that, neither day nor night, in between, the state of being in the middle of things, something that's transient. So that's very interesting because the state of mind itself is fuzzy, and that word is used here. And crumbling yellow pollen, something that's deconstructing within itself, falling apart, that sense is being kind of woven in the narrative, isn't it? And again, yellow, blue, gray, and the color gray. It's a kind of a bleak color, isn't it?
Again, it's neither here nor there. It's
Nor
neither
there.
black nor white. It's
Absolutely. The in-betweenness. So children, they're not exactly babies, babies nor are they adults. That in between state, where there is a lot of confusion, where they aspire to be grown-ups but they are not. So that state is also very interesting. And she says evening, that one single word, evening, twilight, the sound of water gushing, falling, the scent of earth receiving water, slaking its thirst in great gulps and releasing that green scent of freshness, coolness. So the earth is like a human being, quenching its thirst and releasing that, coolness into the air. And this is, I think, the only moment in the story where there is peace,
Yes.
there is calm, and there is a sense of pleasantness about, at other moments in the narrative, something subversive, something negative, pessimistic is kind of blended with all the words and ideas. Through the crack, Ravi saw the long purple shadows of the shed and garage lying still across the yard. Beyond that, the white walls of the house. The bougainvillea had lost its lividity, hung in dark bundles that quaked and twittered and seethed with masses of homing sparrows. The lawn was shut off from his view. Could he hear the children's voices? It seemed to him that he could. It seemed to him, again, it's not very definite, it seemed to him, it's probable, it's likely. It seemed to him that he could hear them chanting, singing, laughing. But what about the game? What had happened? Could it be over? How could it when he was still not found? So the interesting thing here, once again, which I've made a reference to in my lectures, is the description of the trees, the bougainvillea
Yes.
tree.
That's what I wanted to ask. In the beginning, the bougainvillea trees were again. It was described very beautifully, and again here it says it has lost its lividity. So is this a premonition for something which is going to come?
Yes, perhaps, because lividity, as I explained earlier, is a color that's associated with injury, with hurt. With strangulation, that bluish gray color that appears on your skin when you're hurt or wounded or attacked. So that color is associated with this bougainvillea tree with really striking colors. That's a bizarre and really contrasting idea to kind of force it on this particular tree. And as you said, this could be a premonition in the sense that Ravi is not going to get what he wants. His heart's desire is going to be disappointment. So, and again, the last image that we have of Ravi is lying on the ground like a dead person, So the prone figure is again very, very tragic, and it has associations of death. So that could be indicated, and again the injury that he suffers to his psyche could be compared to the lack or the lividity that's associated with bougainvilleas. And she says it had lost its lividity, so it's become some other color which is worse than that striking color, and that color itself has associations of injury and being wounded. So it's a very, very imagistic story, and all these images have associations of something really not very pleasant or healthy or joyful. And that's very interesting in the context of children's games and children's play that she writes about.
Coming to what you said, children's play. Childhood is often very it's romanticized by a lot of authors. Even when we were talking about Ruskin Bone's Blue Umbrella, we were talking how childhood is very they're pure and all that. But Anita Desai here, she uses a very apparently very innocent scene of children playing to reveal a more sinister reality.
Yeah, quite right. In the case of Bond, it's done very subtly, too subtly for us to deduct. In fact, we really have to use our spyglass to go after some of the clues that tell us that all is not well in that mountain village, and there are fractures there are social fractures, gender discriminations, class divide, and all these elements are there hidden beneath the veneer of beauty of nature. And here it's rather more apparent, I would say, but we would tend to limit that problem or the struggle or the fight within the playground, right? It's children squabbling amongst themselves. But if we take a closer look, that squabbling is really harsh and fierce, almost violent. Shirt sleeves are torn. There's pushing, there's shoving, there's kicking. And there's one moment in the story when we have Ravi
Raghu.
thinking that he can get out of the shed, and that's when he hears Raghu bearing down on a girl. That's a very disturbing image to have in the context of a teenager, approaching a girl, and we think of so many other associations, right? Especially in terms of sexual assault and other things. So that's always there, lurking in the corner. So the children's games are not merely children's games. It just spills over and makes us think of other things, and it also makes us wonder about the adult world that they are in touch with. What sort of adult world is the thing that they have as models, and how is that impacting on the children who are playing in that big household? So these questions are provoked by the games that these children play.
Let's talk about the adults in the story. I think there's a tinge of dysfunctionality to their family. Ravi was gone so long, and
Yes.
their family did not. When he comes back, she's annoyed. That's what Desai says.
Yes.
She
yes.
isn't even, and he's crying there. She comes and she's annoyed, and she asks him to keep quiet.
Yes.
And they don't even find out that he isn't there for so long. What do you think about their attitude? And again, this you saying Raghu bears down on a girl. Is he mimicking the adults?
Good.
Because he's in that age where
Yeah.
he wants to become an adult, but he is not an adult. So
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, especially in terms of the mother not reacting in an appropriate manner to the agony suffered by a young kid. Let's go back to that line. So this is what Ravi sees when he comes out. Out on the lawn, the children stop chanting. They all turned to stare at him in amazement. Their faces were pale and triangular in the dusk. The trees and bushes around them stood inky and sepulchral, spilling long shadows across them. They stared, wondering at his reappearance, his passion, his wild animal howling. Their mother rose from her basket chair and came towards him, worried, annoyed, saying, stop it, Ravi, don't be a baby. Have you hurt yourself? And then seeing him attended to, the children went back to clasping their hands and chanting, the grass is green, the rose is red. So we have Ravi terribly disappointed by the lack of, attention that's been given to him by the rest of the children, and he charges towards them and crying all the time as well. And the mother is slightly worried, but she's also annoyed. And her worry is only towards his physical well-being, something that I made a mention of earlier. So she worries about his physical state rather than about the psychological state, and the state in which he is in, the crying that he does, is swept aside. It's kind of ignored by her, and she says, stop being a baby, just be a grown-up, behave like an adult, don't behave like a child.
and again, is it because he's a boy?
That's another very good question. So boys are not supposed to cry. Very good. And it's very interesting that we also see Mira, another girl, mirroring the attitude of the mother. If you look at the next big where is that point? Yeah, and she says, don't cry. Mira says Mira is the one who early on separated the boys who are fighting, and she comes up with the strategies saying that we can decide who is going to be the seeker through this game, and she's the one who puts Ravi in his place now after he's come out from the shed. She says, join the line, be at the end of the line. Don't cause trouble. So we have female figures endorsing the hierarchy ultimately. They want everybody to follow the social order that's been put in place. They make small interventions, but that's what they are. The interventions are small.
The internalization of patriarchy. Again, they're mimicking what the adults do.
Absolutely. So we don't see the father figure until the very end, and he's quite silent in the sense that he just sits on the garden, and he just sees all the games being played out, and he's very silent, but he's very authoritative as well, in the sense that the children behave. They seem to behave really well. They don't seem to create any kind of havoc when the father's around. And if you notice, the car is being washed with the help of the children, and that's the only one activity in which they don't cause any trouble. Is this because the father is around? So that's the question that we can also speculate on.
And we've talked a lot about the imagery, but I think we have to talk more because it's very evident. Everything from the beginning paragraphs, you can actually
Yes.
imagine it without using too many of your own assumptions. She just leaves nothing, a lot to imagination. She writes so
Yeah.
beautifully, so her language is very lucid, yet you can understand what is happening there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you talk more about it?
Yeah, it's very rich, as I said, and it's very dense. You can lose yourself for several hours within a small paragraph. Using a small paragraph, and I'll just pick one to do a little bit of close reading. Something that I have talked about earlier, but it's worth looking at again. So this is the part about the shed. The shed wasn't opened more than once a year when Ma turned out all the broken bits of furniture and rolls of matting and leaking buckets, and white anthills were broken and swept away, and flit sprayed into the spider webs and rat holes, so that the whole operation was like the looting of a poor, ruined and conquered city. The green leaves of the door sagged. They were nearly off their rusty hinges. The hinges were large and made a small gap between the door and the walls, only just large enough for rats, dogs, and possibly Ravi to slip through. So the association of creatures and stuff is fantastically done. And I'm really struck by this figurative language of the simile employed to talk about all these defunct household goods and all these creepy crawlies, and comparing them to a poor, looted, conquered city, and using the mother image as the conqueror to do it. And that's very striking.
And it makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense, because if we look closely at Mira or the mother, they are slightly less sympathetic towards the downtrodden young children in this household. And that's how, see, even Ravi being conflated, being put together with rats and dogs. The lowest of the low in every order seem to be lumped together. So the imagery in this particular story is not there merely for effect. It's not merely to create a striking, a sense among the readers. It's there for a specific purpose. And I think that she's employing this world of children and the hierarchy in that world to talk about other hierarchies, and how there are people in the society who are also implicated in this kind of, establishment or the reinforcement of the hierarchy, and how we look at those figures. And mother figures are very interesting because they are spun with all these idealisms, right? And she kind of unravels it at moments in the story, and that's done very effectively and subtly.
And again, talking about hierarchies, do you think the sibling hierarchies mirror the hierarchies which are present outside, the social hierarchies?
Yeah, it could mirror. For example, if you look at the conversation here, the beginning conversation where they decide to play this game of hide and seek, I mentioned this earlier too, there was no speech prefix. For that conversation. We don't know who is doing the talking, but we can guess there is a senior, there is a junior. So that category is established. Seniors trample down on the juniors, the superiors trample down on the inferiors, the social superiors trample down on the social inferiors, and you can put all the different kinds of categories and their orders in that conversation. And this is the conversation. They say, let's play hide and seek. Who will be it? You be it. Why should I? You be. You're the eldest. That doesn't mean. So the eldest doesn't easily buckle down to any kind of pressure. And it's very apparent that even when Raghu loses that game, he doesn't take the outcome pretty easily. He says, you cheated, Meera cheated, he cheated. So that anger is easily expressed. And he has that space to express that anger and get away with it. And that's very interesting. And when he is on the losing side, he also seeks other authority to back him up. So he says that Ma said we got to play in the veranda, in the porch, not go out. Okay, so he resorts to, getting the help from other higher orders. So that's very interesting.
And let's talk a bit more about Raghu's character.
Yeah.
he whistles, and there's one scene where he says, "I'm not going to leave you alone," or he kicks somebody.
Yes,
in the-
yes. Whistling and the kicking. I'll just pick up on those. This whistling is a sound that we do when we are happy, usually. That's what we do in
It's also associated with bullies.
Yes, absolutely. It's also associated with bullies, which is what he does. So if you look at the positive spin, it's done when you're in a cheerful mood. It can also be used to bully, threaten, harass other people who are inferior to you, and that's what he does. His whistling becomes sharper, angrier when he is on the hunt for the other kids who are hiding. So it's almost as if there is a hunt there. And I'm reminded of William Golding's work, where he uses all the boys, the school boys, to talk about the pressures and the conflicts and the war-riven landscapes, right?
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, the Lord of the Flies especially. And the boys kind of play out all the discriminations and all the horrors that the adults play out in the mainstream society. So that kind of similarity is also evident here when Raghu tramples down. He kind of crushes all the bushes and the shrubs. He uses a stick to whack a wall, to threaten, and even the language that he uses as part of the game, "you're dead," that's very, very symbolic as well. And again, we have huge number of associations with death, sepulcher, coffin-like situations, and all these are really played out through language.
It is very morbid when you think. Come
Very,
to think
very
of
morbid.
it.
Very, very morbid. Especially the shed.
Yes.
The physical, appearance of the shed. It's a claustrophobic space, a space which is comparable to a coffin. And early on there's an embedded narrative which talks about Ravi being caught in a linen cupboard.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But he was he felt more familiar. with this.
yeah, because it has associations of his mother. So, but again, the idea of being confined in tiny spaces, and even the home is not very conducive or congenial. The writer says, the third person narrator says, the house was not cool, but at least a protection from the sun. At least a protection. It's not the ideal cliched homely home with lots of comforts around. So that various specialities seem to indicate this: the home, the shed, the linen cupboard where he's trapped. Okay, so the idea of being trapped is also there.
And Ravi's need for validation by the society. It's not just Ravi's. It's for an adult. As you were talking about Golding, when we talk about adults, we think it's very obvious. But when it's imposed on the children, when children do it, we are shocked for it.
Yes, yes.
So I think
yes, that's a good comparison.
Is that why Anita Desai used children
to bring out all these
yeah.
contradictions and horrors and brutalities. Brutality is an image that's there everywhere in the behavior of Raghu, and sometimes even associated with Ravi himself. Because if we look at the description pretty closely, when he gets out of the shed, he charges like an animal, right? Like a ram would, or like some kind of predator would, right? The charging is an interesting choice of word. And again, he cries, and that cry is associated with animal howling. So the primitive instincts are just beneath the skin, and it erupts when you're provoked or pushed into a corner. So that element should also be recognized. The capacity to be wild and violent is there in everybody, and perhaps more with the male children than with the female children, who kind of use their cleverness and subtlety to get away with all the problems in society. So that is also there. Did I answer all your queries there? So the point about validation, early on, he just wants victory. He wants to be the one who has succeeded amongst all these older children. So that's what he craves, and he waits quite a long time inside the shed for a small boy, surrounded by all these old stuff, dusty things and creepy crawlies. He imagines snakes, crawling around and things like that. And then he comes out hoping for victory, and he doesn't get it, and he's terribly disappointed, right? But even more than that, the disappointment is that everybody has forgotten about him. that's the horror of horrors. How could they forget me? And as you mentioned early on, even the parents have forgotten about it, and that is dysfunctionality for you. When they could not spot a missing child, both the parents are there, the mother and the father, and they don't notice Ravi until he comes out crying, and even then he doesn't get any sympathy. And what about the father? He doesn't make any kind of reaction to this hurt child. Why is he quiet? Why is he letting his wife do the talking? Maybe he is letting her do it because that's her chore, that's her task. So we have gender roles there, neatly divided and parceled out. So all these questions crop up in our minds when we think about these things deeply, right? So that's there. That insignificance is what hurts him most.
Yes.
And it's very sweet and tragic to see that he lies full length on the damp grass, crushing his face into it, no longer crying, silenced by a terrible sense of his insignificance. And it's very sweet in the sense that he's seeking comfort from Mother Earth when his own mother is not providing the comfort that is necessary for this young child, and Earth becomes that huge mother figure. And very interestingly, his posture suggests death. So there is this idea that you will get the ultimate comfort only when you are dead and buried and very close to nature. So all these ideas inevitably come up for us to worry about.
Again, we might even talk about the death of innocence.
Yes, absolutely.
He will never see the world the same anymore.
Yes.
That loss of innocence, anything he does is futile. I think that would keep on recurring, and
Yes,
will have a
absolutely.
very
The loss
negative-
of innocence is a very interesting point. His realization that he will not get any help from the people around him, from the community around him, is a very interesting and important lesson for him in this society where leading a life is not very easy. So navigating life becomes really difficult, and he learns that painful lesson at that young age itself. So it can be seen as a lesson in growing up, an initiation into the adult world where you got to navigate your life on your own, not depend on others for comfort, solace, or validation.
one last question. Breaking it down, breaking the entire story down, maybe I'm oversimplifying it. The theme, can it be put as an expectation versus reality?
Oh, that could be one of the themes. There are several themes, as I said, lurking around the corner, and every rich passage will tell you newer things about life and how it functions in this society. But expectation versus reality is also a very important theme, because Ravi, this young boy, has a very simplistic set of expectations. He thinks that if he hides for a long time, he will get the reward of being recognized, and that would be his laurels. And he shyly, smiles about it. That's innocence for you. It's very formulaic, his expectations are. But then when he realizes that's not how life is going to be, because, it changes. The outside world has changed so drastically. The children go on from game to game. And he doesn't know that, so he lives within his own world, within his own mind. So his realities are completely different. So he needs to think outside of his mind too, if he wants to squire things, if he wants to lead a peaceful, comfortable existence in this world. So there is a big chasm between expectation and reality, at least in the context of innocent, vulnerable, inferior, powerless people who really have to think hard in order not to be disappointed.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your questions. I hope you had a very enjoyable time listening to this conversation. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you in the next session.